quick video blog for you. I got an email from Trevor, and Trevor's out in Boston, and to sum up his email here, he wants to know about stretching and kind of the importance revolving around stretching. And if you're like most people, you go to the gym, you just hop on the bench press, and you start getting after it. And you never really took the time to prepare your body for that weight. Instead, you just hopped on it, you went in there cold, and you expected your body just to switch from being pretty much actively resting throughout the day to actively performing. And the body just doesn't work like that, at least not at an efficient and effective rate. So there's some things that we can do to ensure that we get the most bang for our buck when going to the gym, and ensuring that our time invested is going to pay dividends at the end. So what are some things that we can do to maximize our performance as well as our results? It's very simple steps, guys. It's a very elementary, but I think a lot of us just need to hear it once or twice. What we need to do before getting under that bar is we need to do a dynamic stretch. Now, I know you guys have heard about static stretching and how we shouldn't be stretching cold muscles because that is a great way to promote injury, and there's a lot of truth behind that. But what that doesn't mean is that we shouldn't stretch at all and that we shouldn't warm up at all, because that is, doing a static stretch before we lift is the same thing as going into our lift in a static state. If I were to go in and stretch my quad, that's the same as going into doing heavy squats right away without a warm-up. They're both static. There needs to be a ramp-up period where we're beginning to take our body from a low state of activity to a higher state, and there has to be a ramp-up period. It can't just be an instant spike in energy output. So we need to do a nice active or dynamic warm-up. And so if we need to warm up our chest, we're not just going to kind of sit here and stretch out our chest and go like this necessarily, but what we might do is warm up through the movements, trying to warm up those particular muscle groups. So we might go warm up our shoulder cuffs, and we might start doing some push-ups, and we might start doing some very light dumbbell side raises and just really working the rotator cuffs, okay? What that does, guys, is not only loosen up your muscles, but it's going to trigger your nervous system. It's going to prime your nervous system, and it's going to increase your body's temperature. It's going to increase the blood and oxygen flow within your body, thus transporting more nutrients throughout the body, promoting a greater, more effective environment for your body to produce muscle and to perform. And that's exactly what we want. And in addition to that, as far as a physical perspective, there's a massive benefit that comes from warming up, but from the mental perspective. And it gives you an opportunity to really dial in and to get in tune with why you're there and how you're going to perform. So rather than just walking in, going to the bench press and start hitting it, as you warm up, you get to focus, why am I here? How am I going to perform? What am I going to do? Am I going to apply myself at this level, or this level? Starting to position yourself visually in particular moments. You can visualize yourself going through the exercises that you have planned. And you can visualize the point in which you hit failure. And you can predetermine whether or not you're going to stop at failure or you're going to push through it a few extra steps. This warm-up period is the perfect time to prime your mind. Get it focused and dialed in on exactly what is to come and exactly what you expect. So that's probably personally, that's my greatest, that is the most beneficial piece of a warm-up for me, is just to get mentally in tune with why I'm there. Even though I do it, you go to the gym every single day and it becomes routine. And it's so easy to just go through the motions and say, I did it today, check the box, put an X on the calendar, today was a good day and whatever. But when you go in there and put aside 5-10 minutes to warming up your body and activate your mind, you're going to get much better results. So that's what we want to do in terms of a warm-up. We got that far, and then we start our lifts. Okay, and what we can do and how we can start to format our workouts is usually we put the compound movements or the heavier lifts in the beginning, and what we can do towards the end is taper off with some of these accessory movements and really focus on the stretch. Now, I'm a firm believer that regardless of the lift, I always want to see full range of motion. Always. I don't want to see guys squatting and not going parallel. They just kind of going, just a little bit down because the weight's too heavy. Or on bench press where they're nowhere close to their chest. They're just going like this. I'm a huge believer of full stretch. You're benching, you should be coming all the way back, getting a nice full stretch, elongating the muscle fibers, creating a much more attractive and a much more, a fuller muscle. When you stretch, same with the bicep, guys. You don't do this when you're doing a bicep curl. You want to let it come all the way down, creating a nice long stretch, elongating the muscle fibers, creating a very strong, well-created muscle. There's a lot of advantages to doing that and focusing on that stretch. But what we do not do during our workout is static stretching. Okay, that's a great way to cause injury. You don't want to do static stretching during the lift. There's a lot of benefits to engorging our muscles with blood and glycogen as we hit hypertrophy and we're hitting those failure points and our muscles are starting to get engorged and it feels like a rock and it's stretched. That's a time where the muscle is already stretched, and we don't want to stretch and then engorge, stretch and engorge, stretch and engorge, because it doesn't allow for that engorgement, if you will, to take full effect. So you might be starting here and you get the pump and you go here and then you stretch and it goes back down. And then you get the pump again and then you stretch and it goes back down. What we want is engorge, 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 engorge. And then at the end of our workout or at the end of that particular muscle group, that is the most prime time to stretch the muscles. When the muscle belly is absolutely filled to the max with blood and glycogen. If it's your bicep should feel like an absolute rock, or your tricep, you shouldn't even see a dent at all. It should just be flat. That's when you know that you hit hypertrophy and the muscle belly is completely full. It isn't until you hit that maximal point do we want to then stretch, and you stretch it out. And because the skin is already stretched from all the blood and glycogen, it's already like this, but now we're going to stretch it some more, forcing the skin, forcing the fascia within the muscle to stretch and expand, promoting greater growth and muscle expansion, fantastic muscle separation. So a quick recap of that. We want to do a warm-up before our workout. Then we get into our workout. And our goal is to, for most of us, our goal is to find that muscle pump and engorge our muscle with blood and glycogen. And then towards the end of our workout, we're going to start incorporating some of those weighted stretching techniques, whether it's dumbbell flies or barbell lunges, stretching those muscle regions. And then at the very end of our workout, when our lifting is done, our workload is done, then we want to do a cool down, and we can do foam rolling or we can do some static stretching. And it's a great way to kind of deprime the body, helping flush a lot of the lactic acid that's built up and that is going to continue to build up, thus helping you recover for tomorrow's performance. If you don't take the necessary recovery steps right after your workout, what you'll find is the next day is a tremendous amount of soreness, and then DOMS is really going to knock on your door. And DOMS is delayed onset muscle soreness, where you're feeling the aftermath of your workout 24 to 48 hours afterwards. And there's a lot of pride that comes with feeling that sore, but at the same time you get to a level where you need to be continuously performing at a high level, therefore you can't afford to be that sore all the time. And that doesn't mean you decrease the performance in the gym, but what you do is increase your performance in terms of recovery. So you kill it the best you can in the gym, and then you do your very best to recover it so you can kill it again the next day. So there's a lot of importance revolving around stretching and recovery, and I truly think that if you guys employ these techniques and these strategies in terms of doing a nice warm-up and stretching before and after, you're going to find that your muscles are going to grow first and foremost, and secondly, the quality of the muscle is going to be so evident. You're going to see separations in areas in which you haven't seen before. Maybe you're one of the guys that is really trying to see the raindrops in their quads, but it just kind of looks like a big lump right now. You know, really take the time to warm up and to stretch and to focus on building that pump through full range of motion during the lift, and then doing, you know, walking lunges, barbell lunges, and stretching afterwards. You're going to see not only growth in that muscle region, but you're going to see a lot of separation. It's going to make for an amazing physique. So that's all I got for you. Trevor, thanks so much for the email. I appreciate it. Thank you all for watching. God bless.